Good evening, James. Good evening, Asher.
Good evening. Are you going to make sense of all this?
Well, I hope so. This is how I feel. How dare these antichrist politicians try to impose their immorality and their LGBT ideology upon the people of Northern Ireland? Let the people of Northern Ireland decide their own laws and their own policies. Who do these people think they are, telling other people what to do with their lives? This is a shame upon the nation. It's a disgrace. Trying to force others to submit to sin and rebellion against God is utter folly.
Well, they're not forcing them to, they're not forcing anyone to do it.
They're trying to force it, Ash. They're trying
They're
to
saying
force
you're
it.
free to do it.
Yeah, well, they're going to make it so that it is up to an individual that they want to get married. The idea that you can't because of some idiotic, ridiculous, in my view, religious idea that has no place in fact at all, is balmy. And I can't understand why... No, listen to me. I cannot understand why it makes any difference to you. I'm not saying you have got to marry a bloke. I don't suppose you'd find one. But, if other people want to marry a man who is a man or a woman, then be happy for them, mate. Be happy for them.
But that is against the law of God. God's law is written in your
God didn't make any laws. It's all written by blokes. Not even women, I don't think, wrote any of those things. So it's just. Look, I wish I could sit you down and show you, or maybe you need some electric shock treatment or something. I don't know. No.
Let the people of Northern Ireland decide the laws. They're even trying to interfere.
What? Give them a referendum? I mean, that would be a really good idea. Let them decide.
Well, what would they decide if they had a referendum?
Let them decide. Let them decide.
But then you'll be quite happy about it, would you? I actually, listen to me, I wouldn't be happy because it hasn't got anything to do with anyone else, what somebody wants to do. And if I wanted to marry a man, Ash and I are thinking of having a civil partnership, it's got
And also, Ken, if they decided, the people in the referendum, that they should allow it, you wouldn't suddenly go, oh, well, that's all right then, would you?
No, that's entirely up to them, actually.
Yeah, but you wouldn't say that if they decided it. You'd say it was sin and all.
Yeah, well, you don't.
You can't change. Now, it's not what I say. I am not against anybody. I'm just telling you and the people who are listening.
No.
So they'd burn in hell, wouldn't they?
Yeah, you're talking rubbish.
There is a God who is listening. We are breaking his laws. This country is now morally and spiritually bankrupt.
No, we're not.
You know what Jesus said about marriage?
Jesus didn't say anything about marriage.
No, he did.
No, he didn't.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he said a lot about it.
Don't be ridiculous.
What did Jesus say about it?
Do you know what Jesus' brother was called?
He didn't know. Did he?
He did have a brother. It's well documented.
Terry Christ.
He had 3 or 4 brothers, Jesus, and he had sisters. They were born.
Really?
He was the firstborn, yes. But do you know?
You see, you didn't even know that.
I didn't know that. So there was a whole Christ family.
Yes.
No, well, Mary had children.
We don't know.
Jesus was the firstborn.
Right.
Yes. Let me read to you. James,
the producer made a good point there. He said he acted like an only child. He did a bit.
But where the others weren't divine conception.
He hung around with men a lot too.
Well, Jesus was born of a virgin without sexual intercourse with Joseph.
That is absolute rubbish.
I went to a club Jesus went to in Jerusalem, next to the tomb of Mary in Jerusalem.
That's a bit...
There really is a sort of old little club, and it's got a sort of...
It's got a plaque on the wall.
Well, it's just a very strange place, and there's like an actual little... It's an underground thing, and you can sit in the table where Jesus... It was like a night. It really was like.
But of course, this is all hearsay. No one knows.
Well, I went there.
Nobody knows what happened a couple of 1,000 years ago.
Oh, don't mock it. I mean, it's all written.
I'm not mocking it. I'm just telling you, nobody knows.
It's written.
Let me read to you what Jesus said in the Bible about
you.
marriage.
Listen, look. You are not reading to me the words of some spiritual guru. You're reading words other men have written down.
I mean, it's not a long time ago, 2,000 years, is it really?
Well, God's word, listen, the foundation stone of society is marriage between one man and one woman. This is common sense for procreation.
Yeah, well, not everybody wants to procreate.
There's too many people.
It's absolute foolishness for a man to marry another man and a woman to marry another woman. And God is angry at that.
It cuts down the population, doesn't it? It stops the population booming.
That's probably quite a good idea, isn't it?
It's a natural thing.
They need more gay people in China.
Yeah.
God is angry about this.
That would help.
God's judgment is coming.
Yeah.
We're heading. We're
Only judgment is coming from people like you who are
Not
willing
me.
it.
I call you because I love you and I love all your listeners.
And I love you too. And that's why you're on the air, because we love you and we realise that if we can help to make you see sense, that you might have a better life.
James, when I worked in Canada, I worked on a job in Brantford, Ontario, and there was a big Englishman who was the foreman. He was a rough, big type of guy. He was a very good bricklayer, and his boyfriend was the forklift driver, a Canadian guy.
Bears.
He was a homosexual, which is his business. His business, that's his business. But he tried to force it upon us. He tried to impose upon us that we should accept homosexuality.
Well, you should accept it.
Forcing,
if he forced on you his attentions, that would be wrong. That would be disgusting. That would be illegal.
That, does he? It means he was trying to make him.
Well, he was just doing what I'm doing. I'm not forcing it upon you.
Free will, freedom.
I'm asking you as one human being to another to accept people are different. And also, I'm asking you as one human being to another to realise that if this Christ person, in your view, ever did exist, if he came back now, he would have different views on life. Life 2,000 years ago was different to the...
No, James. God's word.
You've got a closed mind, Ken. You've got a very closed
eternal.
mind.
Listen, why don't we have an adultery pride day or a fornicator's pride day? Why don't we
should have.
And glorify all?
You're an idiot.
See, this is just
No, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I have allowed you to have your say. Now you are being appallingly hurtful to people. And if there was anything in this religious stuff, which I doubt, but I'm hopeful that there is kind of somewhere where people's and animals' souls go. There might well be, and I'm hoping that my dog and my wife are together. I do not like the way you insult people that don't agree with you. And you need to stop doing that. Because if your friend Jesus ever existed and came back now, he would not like people like you. He would not want to hear people like you saying the rubbish, the absolute bilge that comes out of your mouth. But I love you, Ken. I accept you can say that, but don't expect to be able to say it without being told the other side of the coin. Good night.